So this week's video, as you can see from the title, is kind of just a bit of a fun idea in between the ridiculously long videos I seem to have out there. And it's, we all have spirit animals, don't we? We all have animals that kind of represent us a bit, that kind of maybe we were them in a previous life, and that, or maybe we will become them one day, and we've held all these little bits of ourselves. Obviously animals have souls as well, so you never know, do you? So that's all it is. It's pretty straightforward. It's just a video matching sense to what I would class as my spirit animals. So I'm trying to not use fragrances the same all the time. I mean, we do this, don't we, even though some of us have like fairly extensive collections. This is not one I own in my collection, but I have sampled it, and that's Tom Ford's Noir Extreme Parfum. Stupid flanker. There's not much difference between this and the original, and the spirit animal it's kind of matching is one that's no surprise to anyone. It's a cow, isn't it? And cows are these kind of lovely, peaceful, just chilled out, you know. They just kind of chill out, look pretty with their big eyelashes and their gorgeous warm eyes, and they just kind of, you know, chill with their friends, have a bit of a moo sometimes roll a bit in the mud. Maybe they don't, but in my mind they do. And where I'm from, you also get the big peak cows, which are like them big massive hairy cows, Highland cows, that's it. And they are taller than me. I bet they're about 5'10" and stuff. They are ginormous cows, but unbelievably beautiful and placid. People get scared of cows for no particular reason, don't they? But I think they're me. Just chilled, mellowed, loving life in the great outdoors. A little bit grumpy, a little bit kind of, yeah, whatever. And they just, yeah. And obviously being brought up round them and talking to them as a kid, and, you know, my only friends, I used to say, but that could well be the case, to be fair. I don't know which way is which. Let's go this way. So what I picked for them is, like I say, Tom Ford's Noir Extreme Parfum. Now I've picked that because it's got this beautiful warmth of the original, you know, the kulfi and the spices and the smooth woods and the cardamom, giving it all that sparkle. But this one is different. To be fair, I pick out more of the ginger, the lovely warm ginger spice early on, than I do the leather. But knowing the leather is there, you do pick it out a little bit. And obviously we're talking about cows, so a little touch of leather is much needed, isn't it? So for cows is Tom Ford's Noir Extreme Parfum. Next up, I think, is again quite obvious, because I have like an obsession and a love of flowers. And unlike this creature, if I try to take these flowers home, I might get done. But the bees just have the best life, don't they? They just spend all day getting drunk on nectar from flower to flower to flower. All their magnificent smells, they'll get close enough for it to have a little bit of a naughty kind of indolic touch to it as well. And this is why they look so happy, and they continually roll round in it, shaking their bum and then going home and dripping in that beautiful nectar to enrich and feed their queen and their future people. But, you know, humans steal it. I mean, to be fair, it's nice. The bees can't really blame us, can they? And we don't want any of that beautiful honey that they've worked so hard to make going to waste. But what I picked for bees is from April Aromatics, and it's a fragrance called Nectar of Love. Let's see. And it's basically, it is just a smell of the million petals, if you like, from all different plants. There's rose in there, there's sharp and neroli, there's blue flowers, there's tuberoses, there's jasmines. I mean, there might not be all of them in there, but you just get it, and you just get like it's it's the bees, you know, he's done for the day and he's got home, and his reward is to go into this big petal room and just roll about on the soft silkiness of them. And it's got this fresh warmth. It's would you call it tender? Kind of a summery, tendery one. It kind of, when you smell it, it's that nostalgic. Remember the summer, remember them hot, sticky times and all the fresh smells of flowers. So for a bee is Nectar of Love from April Aromatic. Next up is a crow, and I think I mean, I've probably told this story before. Where I used to live, I had like a not a pet crow, but you know what I mean, a crow that came to see me a lot because I'd feed him. I'd leave little bits of meat and stuff on my wheelie bin, and he'd come there, and then every time I walked out my door and stuff, he was kind of on the lamppost looking at my door. And obviously you feel, sometimes I felt like it was like my protector animal, if you like he was always around. And even now I just love the sight of crows. They're deeply intelligent, ridiculously intelligent, and I don't know what made humans so arrogant to think that they're not. Were they using their tools and their communication techniques, and even the relationships they have with other species and stuff? They are deeply intelligent, and some people think they're a bit spooky and what have you. Why? Because they're black? Because they make a crowy sound? No. They are magical, mystical creatures. Maybe parts of the gods. Now, if I'd we missed that bee. I was going to say, if this was bee, it was a great time. But yeah, you know, Odin, the kind of all-seeing eye, and they are everywhere, and they're just beautiful, aren't they? And what I've matched with a crow is probably not the first fragrance you'd put with a crow, actually, I don't think. And that is Elan Vital from To the Fairest. Now this is a kind of a dark green aromatic kind of forest fragrance, and it's got a kind of, to me anyway, it's something a bit licoricey in there, which obviously represents the darkness of a crow, if you like. But it's also just these beautiful woods, and the beauty of the aromatic kind of little bit of that old apothecary lavender maybe in there, with the dense darkness of the bottoms of the forest, the green and the thick trees. And it's just, to me, it brings to life the kind of exciting, radiant kind of, but dark environment of a crow. All the endless possibilities, all the magic. I mean, we know herbs have that association with old school magic and things like that. So that's Elan Vital. Next up is from Eau Parfums, and it's called Wonders of the Nile. Now this is another leathery fragrance, and it's related to something that might live along the Nile, in my mind. I don't know if they do. Is hippos. And obviously everyone knows I love hippos. They are like cows, but and cats, in the fact that they are true gods on earth, aren't they? I think I'm going to have a sit down for this one. Sorry about that, you just have to enjoy the dog running and the view. But yeah, they are just magnificently beautiful creatures. They are massive, they are fierce, they're almost indestructible, even despite terrible humans trying to steal their teeth and whatnot. But they are quite wonderful creatures. But again, they are just the most magnificently intelligent, deep creatures that have quite a lot in common with humans. Like, they come out when it's dark for a little kind of conversation with each other, a little chill by the stream, and they collect in big groups and have a chat. They're like a community animal, aren't they? There's always somebody nearby, and that they also grieve for their dead young and things like that, or another dead hippo, which obviously, come on, that shows a deep level of intelligence, if nothing else does, doesn't it, apart from the talking and all of that. And on top of that, they are these big, magnificent warrior kind of animals. And the vegans, all they eat is meat. They don't hurt any other living creature unless you're stupid enough to come and try and attack it or step on it or try and invade its kind of space. I mean, good on them, really. And that's why I picked the hippo as kind of one of my spirit animals, because again, they're just magnificent and they're cute, aren't they, with their lovely little teeth and their big mouths, and again their little eyes and stuff. They also have a hilarious way of pooing. I mean, who cannot appreciate projectile excretions? I mean, again, keeps people away, doesn't it? But yeah, Wonders of the Nile is kind of, it does have that kind of, a little bit of that kind of green, mysterious kind of smell of things growing by the Nile. I think there's papyrus in there, and there's a lovely kind of sweet kind of styrax, kind of lovely resinousness in there. There may well be, I think there's a touch of iris, and there may be cardamom, these things that brighten it up. But it's also a dark leather, like a smooth leather, like the hide of a hippo. Imagine one's like somehow black and that, it will be like stroking them. It's rough and it's tough, but it's also kind of smooth, and you want to hug it. And the same with the muskiness in it is really good. I think there's ambrette in it, but there's also something a little bit naughty in there, something a little bit animalic, something that still kind of reminds you, yes, I'm an animal. And it's kind of sensual like that. Now, I'm not saying I want to get sensual with a hippo. That wouldn't end very well for anyone, would it, really? But it has that kind of, yeah, that kind of magic about it, like your hippo's been nuzzling you and whatever. So anyway, this has been a very long one. For hippos is Wonders of the Nile from UPA. Next is another magnificent bovine creature. As you can see, I like these sorts of animals, and I haven't picked whales. That's one that will be an honourable mention, but it's not on here. But they're all kind of similar, aren't they? But an elephant anyway. And elephants again are deeply intellectual, clever creatures. They are fiercely protective of their family, their community kind of animals. They're also animals you don't mess with. People try to steal again their blooming tusks for literally no reason. Listen to me, ivory has never been acceptable unless it was taken off a dead animal. And then if you want to create beautiful art with it, whatever, it does not make you more, what's the word, vigorous in the bedroom or anything like that. It's all nonsense. It doesn't make good jewellery or good pottery. Again, if some little artisan person finds a dead elephant, fine. Otherwise, just leave the ivory where it belongs. Or maybe we should start hunting you and smash your teeth out and make them into an axe to smack you with. That's my opinion on ivory. Never been acceptable. It's never been acceptable to hunt animals unless we were hunter-gatherers and we needed them for food or something. Nowadays, it's not really a fair fight, is it, between a big, magnificent, ancient creature and some little cowardly worm with a gun? Nah, just don't do it. And also, no, I'm just going to leave it there. Ivory, and I think all ivory should be destroyed, and then it wouldn't have a value, would it? Anyhow, elephants are big, magnificent, lovely kind of creatures again. They seem to have quite a good relationship with humans. They're not particularly bothered by us, unless we're, anyway. So they are magnificent, they're proud, they're supposed to have good memories. All that probably means is they have a good sense of direction and where's good to live and stuff. They are social animals, they care very deeply for their young. I think this is like whales, where they have like a grandma. Are whales, elephants, and the only ones who go through the menopause? Maybe, but anyway, they respect these elder women to breastfeed, to look after the young, whilst the others are off hunting and doing whatever it is they do, trampling down stupid human settlements where they live and that. And that's why they're just magnificent animals again, aren't they? So what have I picked for a deeply intelligent elephant? Well, it had to be something a bit special and kind of thoughtful again, didn't it? And I've gone for imperial tea. Now, I know elephants live in Africa and India, but let's pretend we're talking about Indian ones. So imperial tea is just this magnificent, beautiful jasmine tea. And if I had a big jasmine tea farm, I'd let elephants live on it. They want to trample a few things, whatever, they can eat the jasmine flowers and take it in, sit down and have a cup of tea with me, and we'll have a chat about old times. They're just, I mean, that whole fragrance is just so realistic and so peaceful and serene, with the whole world going past you and all of that. And that's how I kind of see an elephant. They're just quiet, aren't they? And chilled and relaxed and wise and deeply philosophical. They know why the universe exists and where it came from. Anyway, I'm waffling on and on and on. For elephants is Kilian's imperial tea. Finally is a misunderstood creature again, because it comes out at night and it's dark, is a vampire bat. Well, not a vampire bat, just a bat, let's say. They're only called vampire bats because they have teeth like that, and they generally go to suck the blood of animals, and they don't kill them, they just go suck some blood and feed, like, you know, we all do and what have you. And they're kind of beautiful night creatures. Again, they're really special. They're the only flying mammal, aren't they? They're not blind, I don't believe, but they use that weird radar thing that they've got to see in the dark. They're just quite magnificent creatures. We used to get fruit bats near us where I live, because there's lots of forested areas and trees and stuff. Again, they're not particularly scary. In fact, fruit bats, as I remember them, were little diddy things that just kind of all flew out in one kind of go. I suppose that made them quite eerie and that, and what have you. And obviously I've gone for a really predictable one, Noir de Noir from Tom Ford. But let's look at it in a different way. Yes, they are blood-sucking animals. They have an appetite for flesh, and maybe they live forever, who knows, probably not. But it's just this kind of sultry thing. Again, you could see a bat being quite a bonny kind of distinguished kind of person, couldn't you really? Hello, I'm a bat. I'm just munching on this piece of meat while you are human, so who are you to criticise me? Oh, with a little monocle and a little kind of mini top hat, maybe some tails, you know, as it that flap in the wind as it flies. And that's that kind of nice pretty version of Noir de Noir, you know, the seductive rose for the blood and the wine, because they're civilised and like to sit and have a chat with you. And the naughty oud, the sweetness of the chocolate, because they're quite bougie and live quite a posh lifestyle. So yeah, for bats I have picked Noir de Noir from Tom. So again, this was just it was a very short video, I hope. It's just in the middle of these longer videos, and I know there's a lot of lists at the moment, but I am going to start to try doing individual reviews midweek. I'm trying to shoot a lot of videos and content, and nobody needs to know this boring rubbish, but the point is, yes, there's a lot of lists, but I'm going to try and start to break them up with a few midweek ones, not the pointless 1 minute review, because I don't think they're very good for anyone, are they really? But some little individual reviews, you know, of newer stuff I've got that I never seem to have time to talk about and whatnot. So anyway, what would be your spirit animal? Why would you pick that? Would you have more than one? How would you scent them? I mean, if your spirit animal was, say, a bat or a cow, do you see them as in completely different ways and therefore give them a completely different scent? Alright folks, yeah, I'm about ready to collapse. It's very, very, very hot and clammy and sticky. Alright folks, thanks for watching, bye.